Good morning. Haven't been on YouTube for a little while. I just wanted to stay away from it for a bit because I haven't read newspapers or watched TV, or I'm not on Facebook or any of that. I haven't done that for years. And YouTube was getting just as bad. All the doom mongering, and it's not exactly positive viewing, a lot of it. So as a slight overreaction, I admit, I've just really not gone near it. And it doesn't matter how many channels you bar and notifications you delete, YouTube just keeps throwing more and more of them at you. And I'm just not interested in seeing most of it. So I've had a complete break for a little while. Plus the weather has not been any help whatsoever when it comes to making videos. It's been storm after storm, constant high winds, heavy rain. It's been horrible, just not the weather for filming at all. I've been out for walks, but obviously couldn't really use the camera. Now those storms have done a bit of damage to my greenhouse, and that's why I'm here today. Now that big 8 foot by 3 foot polycarbonate sheet that you can see there is supposed to be there. The wind pulled it off, but testament to how strong this stuff is, it hasn't actually damaged the polycarbonate sheet at all. That's completely in one piece, and it's not even pulled the screws through it. The screws are still sticking out the sheet. I think what actually caused it was the bloke who originally built this didn't put any sort of overhang on the front here. You can see the whole roof's made of the polycarbonate, but he put in no overhang whatsoever. So the water comes down this way and straight away goes onto this wood, which has rotted away. You can see a bit of it here, look. That's the sort of condition of the wood that the roof was screwed into. So I think what I'm going to have to do is replace that bit at the front. Obviously that needs to go back up there. But also what I'd like to try and do, I've got some flashing and some gutter sealant and blah blah blah. I want to try, if possible, to lift these, move them forward so that it has a decent overhang, and then fill in the gap at the back with, I'm guessing, probably some bits of wood with flashing over it. Should do the job. I've had to wait a few weeks to be able to come and do this because the weather's been so bad. You can't really manoeuvre these big 8 foot by 3 foot sheets on a windy day. You'll end up like Mary Poppins. Just give you a quick show of how the allotment's looking. I'm basically just waiting for things to dry up a bit. My beds are all fed and mulched. I've done that over the winter, so they're very nearly ready to go for the spring. The girls are all happy, aren't you? Right there, Freckle. Right, Shirley. And I've been getting a lot of free straw, as in the sweepings off the barn floor from work. So whilst I still buy nice clean bales of straw for bedding for the chickens, this stuff that's swept up off the barn floor at work has saved me quite a few quid in my mulch. I was extra careful this year to add quite a lot of nitrogen based fertiliser, because one slight drawback of using this heavy mulch method is if you're using uncomposted material, which I do, it can start to deplete your beds of nitrogen over time. So I've got an enormous amount of my own chicken manure and chicken manure pellets in there. Sorry, when I say my own chicken manure, it didn't come out of me. I've really got to wait for things to dry up before I can do much more at the moment though, because you can see all the rain we've had. I dug this intentionally to act as a bit of a drain for these beds on slightly higher ground. It all catches down here and goes into the pond that I dug. It's doing its job, look, all these channels full of water, helping to drain the beds. But that's not just rainwater, you see, that is actually where the water level's sitting in the clay under here at the moment. So although that's slightly lower than my beds, if I were to start digging in these beds now, I'd probably get down to about 6 or 8 inches and just find that. I mean, actually, considering this is my 8th summer on this plot, it's not fared too badly. Considering how flimsily it's built, if you look at what it's made of, it's not much. The bloke who was here before me, I don't know how many years it had sat here, after he built it. But originally it was all just plastic sheeting. I added all the glass and I reinforced the wooden frame a fair bit, make it all a bit more sturdy. Yeah, this plastic stuff here, look, can you see that flapping? There's some remnants of it. That's the stuff it was originally made of. So it's actually lasted quite well considering. But looking at it, I think I'm probably going to try and replace a fair bit of that wood around the top there. Try and bring that roof forward a bit and we'll see how that goes. Let's see. What do you reckon, Freckle? Pop pop. They said it was supposed to be dry today. I was kind of counting on that. Well, until the rain interrupted play, I have actually managed to mostly replace this rotten old bit of wood that was running along the top. Although, nothing's ever easy, is it? Doesn't go to plan. I'm doing a proper squat bodge job here. The wood actually falls just short of being able to secure it properly at this end. So what I've ended up doing is raising the whole lot up along this front edge by a bit of wood's width. What is that, about 1.5 inches maybe. And I've had to put these lugs in here, which I'm going to put more of this 1.5 inch wood to, and then cross member it, whatever you call it, join all that together nice and secure before I can screw the sheet back down. At the end of the day, this shed isn't going to last, sorry, this greenhouse isn't going to last forever anyway, because as you can see down here, these bits of wood, which might just look like edging for the beds, are actually what's holding it all together around the bottom. They run all the way through and under the shed next door as well, holding it all together in one piece. So it wasn't, they're going to rot eventually. This wasn't built very well in the first place, and the best I can really do is just keep patching it up to get as much as I can out of it before having to one day splash out on a new greenhouse somehow. Now I gave up on the idea of pulling all of this forward and giving us a nice overhang at the front, because when I built the tomato shelter next door, I've overlapped the roof of the tomato shelter onto this one, making this a bit on the impossible side to actually unscrew and move without having to take all of this apart as well. That's how it goes when you're making everything out of skip fines and pallets. So what I'm going to do, this is still going to sit flush, it's not going to have an overhang, but I'm going to use my flashing over the front edge there, so that, I mean, actually, bearing in mind that I've raised this up, I think the water's going to come off the side now anyway. I don't think the water's going to come off the front anymore, but I'm going to run my flashing along the front of there to stop that wood rotting. Now, let's just see how much of that flashing I've actually got. What do I need there? It's about 8 foot, isn't it? Got about half a roll left over from when I fixed my mum's porch. I should be able to get enough out of that to run along the front. I'm going to wait for this rain to stop though, because I'm up on ladders and up on a very slippery plastic roof. I nearly went arse over tit off of this one earlier. I'm going to wait for that rain to die down a bit. And even if I don't get it completely finished today, which is looking increasingly likely, I'll at least just get it all secure and screwed down. It won't be 100% waterproof just yet, but at least it'll be all secure, ready for the next inevitable storm, because they just keep coming and coming. Like I said, today was supposed to be dry with sunny spells. Not a bit of it. Careful there, Freckle, you get your head chopped off. Come on. Here's a good girl. Just one sawing. Good girl. She's an odd little chicken, Freckle. She likes my company. Hardly surprising really, she was hand reared. She does like to hang around with me when I'm here. But she's got an odd way of getting my attention and trying to get my affection. She bites and kicks me until I pick her up and give her a stroke. Don't you, cheeky little madam, eh? You definitely watch too much Coronation Street and EastEnders. Around my brother's house when you were a chick, didn't you? All that violence. It's worn off on you. What are you doing up there, eh? Don't you go stealing my beer, madam. I'm watching you. I really shouldn't be using this old milking stool as a sawing bench. It's well over 150 years old. I would actually be tempted to say, from my pitiful research, that it's probably getting closer to 200 years old. I rescued it from a house clearance. It was going to go in the skip. Found it up in the attic. It's a lovely bit of workmanship. No screws involved. There's no screws or nails. Exactly how it's all held together, I'm not quite sure. But it's what are you doing? Oh, there you are. You all right up there, madam? Good. Anyway, I couldn't find much out about it, really. I did try Googling milking stool, but the results were absolutely horrific. It was not what I expected, and I felt a bit sick. So, word of advice, do not search the phrase milking stool with safe search switched off. Right, I'm getting there, slowly. This is all replaced along the front here. And at the end, where the wood came a bit short, I've added a couple of lugs and a bit of wood there. I've cross-braced it. I've added another couple of lugs there. I'm going to put a bit of wood on, just as something extra for the polycarbonate to screw into. We're getting close. Once I've done that, we'll get the flashing over the front here. Screw the roof down. And what are you doing? You're attacking me. Screw the roof down and probably leave it there for today. Oh, incidentally, if any of you remember, what were they called? Pecky and Speckle, my two roosters, my two cockerels. They did get rehomed, if you remember, in the end. They didn't have to be eaten, which I was very pleased about. They've got a lovely new home. And their new owner, Dom, he's actually emailed me a short video. He did a few weeks ago, which I think I showed you. Well, a few months ago now, which I think I showed you. He's sent me another one since. They're much bigger. They've got their lovely great big tail feathers. And they're living with a flock of ducks. They look happy as anything. So I'm going to tag that little video on at the end of this one. And you can see how they're doing. It's very pleasing to see. And that stool reminds me, actually, I had an idea for a little series of videos. It would be too much for one video. But I had an idea for a little series of videos called Items of Interest, maybe, something like that. I've got so much interest in old stuff, weird old bits and pieces that I've collected over the years. Excuse me, madam. Oi. So much stuff that I've collected over the years, and some of it's really unusual, some of it's interesting, none of it's particularly valuable, but it's just all interesting old stuff. And I thought maybe I could do it Jack Hargreaves style, you know, sitting in the shed. He always had a pipe on the go. I won't be doing that. But yeah, sit there and just show you a few of my bits and pieces. Although a lot of them I need to do a bit more. I need to do a bit more research on, because I don't actually know very much about some of them. I just know they're very old, and that most of them I either found in junk shops or actually rescued from the tip. They'd have ended up in landfill, most of them. Yeah, I might have to do that soon, because I've been avoiding the bad weather, and come to think of it, that's something I could do in bad weather, isn't it? Right then, you, let's get you back with the others, shall we? Because I've got to lift this sheet off now, and you'll be off and away, won't you? Don't forget, you are actually a chicken. I think I'm at the end of what I'm going to do today. Now, you always forget something when you're doing a job like this. Always forget to bring something to the allotment. Today I forgot my washers. You can see how I screw the polycarbonate sheeting down there on the tomato shelter. Just put a nice big penny washer underneath the screw so that it doesn't pull through the polycarbonate. Well, I forgot to bring any, so what I've had to do just for now, I did have a load of these little brackets, little angle plates. So I've used a few of them along the front, and then these bits here, I've just screwed through a bit of batten just to hold it in place for now. But that's alright, that's job done for now. Because, oh yeah, and I've got the flashing along the front there, that'll get secured properly at a later date. But for now, that'll do. The greenhouse isn't going to blow over. I've stopped any more ingress of rain to hold off any more rot that might occur. That'll do me for now. So you little pom-pom ladies are laying again. You don't lay in the winter, do you, you little bantams? Look. One little mini bantam egg. Oh, there you go. That's one example of how you might choose to bodge a skip-built greenhouse after a succession of horrible storms. I'm off to the supermarket to get myself a nice big bit of lamb to roast. That'll be nice. Now hopefully, I don't know if it'll be next weekend, I'm just waiting for some sun, basically. Once we've got some nice bright sunny weather that will make some nice filming, I'm going to go to Little Gadsden, which is an interesting village with a lot of little stories to tell. Right, well, I'll see you all soon then. Oh, and here's that clip that I promised you of Speckle and Pecky. Bye.